Good morning, Marks. Welcome to the second video for lesson 6.3, day 1. If you have not watched video 1, please go back and do that now as we went over this first example. Okay, so this is a try it. So you guys should have done this one on your own. So I'm just going to go through it quickly so we can get both these examples in on this video. Okay, so the first step is to add our two equations together. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we have 4x minus 4x, that is 0, right? Then we're going to bring down my plus sign. Y plus 2y gives me 3y's. Negative 4 plus 16 is a positive 12. Okay. Did we get a 0? Yes, we did, right? Our x's canceled out. So we just cross that out. We bring down our 3y equals 12. We're going to solve for y now because that's what's available to us. So I divide both sides by 3 because that 3 is multiplying my y. So they'll cancel out. And I get y equals 4. Okay, so I know that 4 is my y value. Okay, now for my x value, we're going to plug that back into my original equation. Okay, so to find x, we're going to use this equation down here. Okay, so we have 4x plus, and now instead of y, I know what my y equals. My y equals 4. I have a value for that, so it's going to be plus 4, and we'll set that equal to, we will set that equal to negative 4. Okay, so I'm just going to solve for x. Subtract by 4 first. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. These cancel out, so I'm left with 4x equals negative 8. I want to divide both sides by 4 because it's multiplying my x. And that gives me x equals negative 2. Okay, so your correct ordered pair for that one should have been negative 2 comma 4. All right, so let's flip over the page. We have one more example on the back. So now we are going to add our two equations. All right, so the first step always is to add our two equations. When we add our two equations, though, you guys will see we won't get a 0, right? So if I was going to add these, if we want to look at this, negative 5 minus 5x, negative 5x minus 5x would be negative 10x, and 7y plus 3y would be 10y, and 11 plus 19 would be 30. So we do not get a 0. We do not get a 0. So we need to go to this next step now, which is to make opposites. Okay, so we have to make it so we get a 0. And we can do that by multiplying one of our equations by a number that we come up with. Okay, so I want you guys to think. If we multiply either of these equations, we have to figure out what number to multiply them by to make opposites. Okay, so to make anything go from a negative to positive, we have to multiply it by a negative. And if you look, if this goes to a positive or this goes to a positive, we'll have opposites, right? So what we're going to do is actually multiply everything in this first equation by negative 1. Okay? And that makes it so we have a positive 5x. So now down here, we're going to have 5x minus 7y equals negative 11. Okay, because that just changes all the signs in there. Then I'm going to bring down my next equation and just put it right underneath there. So I have minus 5x plus 3y equals 19. Okay, and once I multiply by negative 1 and make opposites, now we add the two equations together. Okay, so now we're going to add the two equations together again. So 5x minus 5x is 0. That's why we did that, right? Negative 7y plus 3y would give me negative 4y. I bring down my equal sign, and negative 11 plus 19 would be a positive 8. Okay, so I get a positive 8. And now I want to solve for my y, so I'm going to draw my line straight down. I know that that negative 4 is multiplying my y, so I need to divide by negative 4. And I get y equals 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. Okay, but I'm not done yet because I have to know what my y or my x is. I just know my y right now. I want to figure out what my x is. Okay. So we're going to use my y, plug it back into my first equation to find my x. Okay. So we're going to take my y. I'm going to write down my equation. So I have 5x minus 7. And now I'm going to plug in a negative 2 for y. So I'm going to plug in a negative 2 for y because that's what my y value is. Negative 2. And set that equal to negative 11. Okay. And now we will solve this equation to figure out what x is. So negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14. So we get 5x plus 14 equals negative 11. Okay. I'm going to draw my line straight down. I know that I want to get rid of that 14 first. It's a positive 14, so the opposite would be a negative 14. I'm going to subtract 14 on both sides. So I get 5x equals negative 11 minus 14 would be negative 25. And now that 5 is multiplying my x, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And I get x equals negative 5. Okay, so then I would put negative 5 for my x. And that would be my solution for that problem. Okay. So if we don't get a 0 when we first add our two equations together, we have to multiply the first equation by negative 1 and then add the two equations together. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for the homework help video for worksheet 6.